guys, today we're talking about unprofessional jobs I've tried out. Basically they're all jobs that were like kind of scammy and kind of just very unprofessional and all in between. So basically I want to start off with the first job. So this was the most recent one. To start off, like it's like a local restaurant. I'm not gonna say what kind of restaurant it is or anything like that, but basically I went to this restaurant and I got an interview and they were like, oh, the manager was really sweet. She was like, you got the job. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. So then she's like, just come in out this day so we can get your paperwork done. I was like, okay. So I come in and literally straight up, the other two managers it's not her, like she's not there that day. The other two managers are like, who are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm, blank, like I got hired by this person. She goes, oh, I didn't know we hired somebody else. She goes, oh, we didn't know they hired somebody else. And I'm like, well, they hired me. And she goes, okay, well, let me get the paperwork started then if you say so. And I'm like, okay. So then they like start the paperwork and then they're like, okay, we'll call you to come in or something like that. And so they text me like the day, like randomly, like a few days later, and there's like, oh, like come in at this time. And it was like the night before the next day. And I was like, that's super unprofessional. So then I like go in, and the first day I'm not in the system. I'm not in the payroll system as well, like, and separately from like being in the system of like clocking in. I'm not in that system either. And I'm trying to like, the manager, the one who hired me, is like trying to like help me like set it up through the app, and I'm not being found. And also through like the clocking in system, like I'm not being found. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just the first day, they'll get this fixed, whatever. But I kind of saw it as like a red flag. And then after that, they're like, I will ask them like, oh, like, so what's the schedule? And because they said that you guys would have a schedule done by today. And then they're like, oh, we don't have the schedule done yet. I don't think so. Let me ask the manager. She asked the other manager, the one who was like, I'm sorry, I don't know, we hired somebody. That lady. So that lady comes into play. We're going to call her, the lady who hired me, her name, we're going to call her Joanna. And then the lady who like was my manager, quote unquote, we're going to call her Doorknob. So Doorknob is like, oh, I'll have the schedule ready by like a couple days or so, and I'll send you a text. And I'm like, okay. So then I'm like working or whatever my first day, and then Doorknob is like, text you when you come in next. And I'm like, okay. So I don't hear back for her. Okay, I got sick and I was supposed to, oh no, she told me she'd come back the next day. But then after that, to come back next, because after your excuse expires. And I'm like, okay. Doorknob never texts me. I text her, I'm like, hey, like, I haven't gotten the schedule yet. And like, also, like, when am I supposed to come in next? She's like, just come in tomorrow. I'm like, okay. She never tells me anything about the schedule. I come in the next day. I'm still not in the system. I'm still not in the payroll system. Doorknob is just like not put me on the schedule yet. And I'm like, are you serious right now? And then, oh, I get there right before I find out all those things again. I go up to this other manager. I don't know who she is. And I'm like, hey, I'm here for my second day, and Doorknob, I guess, is Doorknob here? And she's like, oh, Doorknob is not here yet. Go sit down. We're gonna wait on this manager named Johnny. Waiting on this manager named Johnny. 45 minutes. And then the owner even comes up to me. He's like, alright, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just waiting on Johnny. They told me to wait on Johnny. He's like, yeah, I'll wait on Johnny. And then Doorknob comes up to me. She goes, it's 9:45. Why are you still sitting here? Aren't you supposed to be at work now? Like, super condescending. And I'm like, I'm sorry. They told me to talk to Johnny. She goes, Johnny's not your manager. I'm your manager. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, what the heck is happening? And then I found out about like, she hasn't done the schedule. She hasn't gotten me in the system. Then the guy started after me. They got him in the system. And then on top of that, I wasn't in the payroll system. And I'm just like annoyed. I'm like, oh my gosh. So then, to put the cherry on top, I leave. And Doorknob is like, I'll text you when to come into work again. I never hear back from her. And it's been a couple months now. I never hear back from her. She never sends me a schedule, nothing. She never showed me a schedule, nothing. She never kept up with me, nothing. What the heck is that? I don't know, but it was the weirdest thing ever. And I have to say, like, I don't know what to make of that. Like, that was just a weird experience, in my opinion. Like, very unprofessional, very didn't have their stuff together, very all over the place with everything. Like, oh my gosh. Worked at this, like, other local place, and I'm not gonna say what they sell or whatever, like, food-wise, but, I went in, and I was in the kitchen, like, making tacos. That's all I'm gonna say. I was making tacos. And the lady kept getting mad that I was, like, making the tacos a certain way. Like, she, like, was getting mad. Like, she was like, don't do that. She was like, don't do that. Like, she was using that tone like you talk to a kid. Like, and she was getting annoyed, like, the manager. And then, like, after that, she was like, I asked her, I was like, she asked me if I can come in a day that I wasn't supposed to come in. Like, I wasn't on the schedule. She just asked me to come in. Oh, before that, this was, like, this was unprofessional. She, like, told me if I could go pick up, like, eggs and something from this other restaurant, like, and I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, am I gonna get paid for gas? She's like, no, you're on the clock, so that's your compensation. And I was like, that's weird, because, like, what if I get into a car accident or something? Like, it's gonna be, you know what I mean? Like, let's see, professional. But she's like, I need you to go get eggs and this and that. And I'm like, okay. So then I go, and she's like, I call her because the guy's asking something about, like, the restaurant I'm working for, and I call her, and she's like, hurry up. And I'm like, okay, that's rude. So then I go back, I bring the stuff, and on the day that she was like, oh, come in at this time, or come in this day, I'm, like, working, and all of a sudden, I'm, like, asking her, like, oh, like, what do I do next? She's like, do this, do that. And I'm like, okay. So then I ask her specifically, like, oh, do you want me to sweep, like, the whole kitchen? Do you want me to sweep outside? Do you want me to sweep both? She goes, I don't care what, she's yelling at me. She goes, I don't care what you do, just sweep. I'm busy right now. She was like, if I get these orders wrong, it's on you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, she yelled at me so, and she said a couple other things, but I don't remember what it was, but that's basically the gist of what she was telling me. And I was, like, so, like, taken aback. I literally cried, and I was sweeping and crying, like, and, like, the girl behind, like, the girl that was there was, like, saw everything, and she's like, it's okay, like, don't take it personal, like, she's just her, like, she does this to everybody. I'm like, and I quit after that. I looked for another job, and I got another job, luckily, thank God, like, right after that, which that job was the gas station. Which the gas station wasn't any better, but, you know what I mean, but still, like, I didn't have to deal with her specifically being, like, yelling at me and being ugly towards me. But yeah, and so the third job, I worked at this place. I'm not gonna say again what the place is, because I don't know what's the deal with this after I explain what happened. So basically, for this restaurant, and I was only there for a month and a half, and they would not work with my schedule. I kept telling them that I had school, that I had certain things that I needed to do, and they would not work with my schedule. They would just be like, the guy would be like, in charge of the schedule, be like, oh, I've been busy, I haven't been able to change the schedule. And I'm like, dude, that's your job. So then he's like, oh yeah, so I tell him, I'm like, I'm quitting. And then 2 days before I'm supposed to quit, like, my last day, I'm like, you know what, what's the point of this? Like, they're not even working with my schedule. I have other things I need to do. I let them know what time. They're still not working with my schedule, even though it's like, I put in my 2 weeks already. They're supposed to, like, work with my schedule. They're not. So I'm like, I have things to do. I'm not gonna come in. So then, okay, this was my bad. I blocked them, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to hear from them. Because at the end of the day, they're supposed to send me my check. Because they weren't doing direct deposits. They were only doing checks, which is a red flag. Now looking back. So I never received a check. Months go by, I never receive a check. A couple years go by, and it's, like, not such a big check. I think it's only, like, $100 or something like that. But it's still, it was, like, money that I could have used for, like, a couple gas tanks. You know what I mean? Like, it's still, like, it's $100. It's my money. It's the principal of it. Like, why didn't you ever send my money? And so I never wanted to go and see them in person and be like, oh, like, what happened with my money, you know what I mean? Because I feel like they were gonna tell me like, and also I had heard the owner, I had met him like once or twice, but he gave me like a bad vibe, and they had told me that he was like really mean to specific like people. Then I received like a letter in the mail. I don't remember like the specific logistics, everything. I'm not a lawyer, but it's basically saying that they were going bankrupt and they owed me money, and they had to, and they were, and I had to put on there like how much money they owed me so they could pay me back when like they were able to pay back. It's been years since then, because when that happened I was 19. A couple years later, when I was like 21, that happened about the like they went bankrupt. I'm guessing somebody sued them and they went bankrupt, or what's the word, they filed for bankruptcy. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, yeah, it's been 6 years. Oh no, it's been 7 6 7 years. So I was 19. It's been 7 years or so, and they six, I don't know, 6 to 7 years, and they still haven't paid me my money, which is the crazy part. And they had like, I don't know, for that to happen, I feel like they had a number of people they did this to, and they obviously knew what they did was wrong, and they knew they didn't send me my check. They knew, because why would you put me down for people you owe stuff to? Like, you obviously, or like, I don't know, like obviously like it fell through the cracks that like, not fell through the cracks, but like came out through the cracks that you owed me money. I don't know, it's just crazy to me. This one was crazy, and the aspect of like this was operating like a pyramid scheme, but it was like a legal pyramid scheme, I feel like, or unless it was like all illegal and like I didn't know about it. I don't know. It was a weird situation. Um, it was on Indeed. I don't know, but like they were operating under like an illegal pyramid scheme. I don't know, but it was weird how they operated. So basically, and that's why I got out of it, because I was like, I don't know what this is. This is weird. Like, anyway, so let me explain. So basically, there was this like offer on Indeed being like a salesperson, and I didn't know specifically what the terms of it was. They made it seem in the interview process, the girl who interviewed me, we're gonna call her Julie. Julie was like, oh yeah, this is a really good, she literally told me straight up, she goes, this is a really good opportunity, like, this is like my second or third interview. She's like, now that you've gone to your second or third interview, this just shows that we really like you as a candidate, and like made it seem like this was like a really special job, like it was really pristine. And I was like, okay, like I see how it is. And so she's like, okay, well, we'll give you a call back if you get the job. If not, then we will call you back. I'm like, okay. So then I go home, I get a call back, and I'm like kind of excited because I'm looking for a job at this point. And then she like tells me to come in for orientation. I come in for orientation, and that's when they try explaining to me. Basically, it's a hierarchy. There's like 5 levels, I believe, at the time. And like the people at the top were like the owners or something, or had their own store. And then they would like basically each level would recruit people, and like the lowest level, you just like if you were at the lowest level, you were just barely recruited, you would just make commission. And like commission to them was door to door. I'm not lying to you guys. I didn't get a base pay, nothing. I only got commission. So if I didn't make no sales that day, I got $0. And it was basically impossible to get to the next levels, because you had to pass all these tests. And these tests were like, first off, you had to come in at like, I don't remember the times you had to come in at, but specifically, but you had to come in like 4 or 5 hours before in the morning, and then you had to come in. You had to be on like, they would take you like door to door, like for 8 hours. So I was basically there for like 12 to 13 hours every day, and then they wanted you to study and like pass these tests. And it's like, how the heck do you, I feel like they did this for 6 days. I don't know how you want me to do like work 12 to 13 hours each day and then do like studying at night and then get these tests like done. I don't know, like that just like, you're working overtime with like no salary, like base pay, but you're only making commission, and even then like if you don't get a sell that day, you don't get a sell. So basically it just didn't make sense. And so then like if you got to the next level, you made like I think 20 grand a year. And then if you got to the next level, it was like a little bit more. And it was just like, I'm just giving examples. It was like a little bit more. And then I think the highest was like 100K at the time. So like if you were like to own your own store, and like then you would recruit other people, and it'd be like the same, like a pyramid thing. And so I'm like, okay, this is weird. So then I'm like going door to door, and nobody wants to talk to me. Like nobody wants to talk to me. I made like 2 sales, and like I was gonna make a 3rd sale, but I'll explain to you what happened. So I tell that girl, that Julie, who's actually like also the one who's like training me, and she's like, I tell her, I'm like, hey, like also they didn't show us these products we're selling. They didn't show us what these products were about. They didn't show us how to like do the process of selling these products, of like signing up the customer. Nothing. They just threw us out on the wolves. So I tell Julie, I'm like, how do you like sign up these people for like these subscriptions of these products? And she's like, oh, I'll help you. So she like helps me, but she puts it in her name, the cell. And I'm like, and later on after that, I like learned how to do it by myself, basically, because I saw her do it. But basically, she puts it in her name, the first cell. And I'm like, first off, you're like at the 3rd level, you're getting base pay plus commission. Like, that was my cell to first start off. And also, why are you so greedy, like, to want to have my cell? Like, you don't have any cells, or you're not getting base pay. Like, I was like, this lady is so greedy. Like, and like she didn't even like be like, oh, put in your name or anything. Like she put in her name under her cell. And I was like, are you serious? So then like I did all the talking, I did all the convincing, like no. Like, and so then I'm kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and then like I only made like $100, I think, out of this whole experience. I'm not even lying to you. I was there for 4 to 5 days. And then after that, I'm like, you know what, this is not working out. And then I would tell Julie, like, she'd be like, how many sales did you get today? And I was like, 0. Like one day I got 0, and she's like, what are you telling them? And I'm like super aggressive to me. And I'm like super mad, she would tell me. And I'm like, oh, I'm telling them this. She's like, that's the problem. You should be telling them this, and that. Like, and she was like, haven't you learned anything from what I've taught you? And I'm like, this girl's rude. I quit, and I basically told him like I'm not coming back, and I'm like trying to pick up my new check, and the girl who's like in charge of the whole store is like, oh, like of the whole store is like, oh, who's like the boss is like, oh, did you work a full week with us, like the 6 days? I'm like, no. And she goes, well, I like you, so I'm gonna get you paid, but technically you're not supposed to get paid unless you do like a full week with us. Are you serious right now? Like, I went, like, it's crazy. I think I only made like $100 because it was like also orientation was paid, and like I think each sub was like $25 or something like that. It was like something like crazy low. Like I don't know. Like it was like I think I only made like at most $100. But she was like, oh, you weren't supposed to get paid, but like because I like you, you're gonna get paid. That should be illegal. Like, are you serious? And so she asked me if I come back to get my check. And she's like, oh, you should come back. Like, when are you going to come back? I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. I just lied to her. I'm like, oh, we'll see. And then, like, the people that I started off with was, like, a group of 15, 16. There's only, like, it was, like, a week and a half from, like, the time I started there to, like, till I went to go pick up my check. There's only, like, 1 or 2 people left. Like, this was a whole scam. And then on top of that, like, it was so unsafe for, like, for example, like, just the whole, like, door-to-door. Like, I also, like, dogs, like, random dogs that can come out. Like, you just never know. You know what I mean? That was my biggest, like worry. And it was also hot during this time. Like, hot. Like, hot. And, like, for you to be out there for, like, 8 hours, like, no. For just commission, no. This last scammy job was at an insurance agency. I'm not gonna say what insurance agency, but it was like a small insurance agency. They sent me the whole paperwork, and except for the payroll, like to put my payroll information, which you wouldn't think is a problem, right? They never sent it to me. I thought I was gonna do it in person or something. I get there and they're like, oh, to set up the payroll to you to get paid, you have to do all these like passwords and accounts and like all these email accounts, and you have to verify all this stuff. And like basically I was on there for the whole day trying to verify all these email accounts they had me create. Plus, like, I had to connect it to a Duo on my phone. And then on top of that, it wouldn't even, the temporary passwords wouldn't work. Like, I would have to make all these accounts. And then just to get to the payroll. And then when I got to and then I would try to call IT, and IT would be useless. On top of that, I got to like where the actual payroll was, and they hadn't even set up the thing for me to put the information in. And I was like, that is so weird. So the next day, I think the girl called me. She's like, it was like a Saturday, and she's like, I think I started a Friday, and it was like a Saturday the next day, and she's like, oh, how'd it go? I'm like, honestly, I was being a little like, giving her a little bit of an attitude. I was like, it's a professional that you guys have to go through these full loops for me to even get paid, when that should have been like the first thing that should have been like in the paperwork. Like, and also like just for like an hour, I was doing like, they didn't even train me. They had me do that to get paid the whole day, and it wasn't even set up. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then for an hour, I was also doing like scripts over the phone, being like, telling people that they had to pay. And like I didn't even really know the services or anything. So it was like weird and awkward. And like later on, that lady, the one I was talking on the phone, she's like, well, you need to calm down, because you need to be patient, and you need to, she was giving me attitude back, which honestly, like, I mean, I was giving her attitude. I mean, it's not like she should be more professional, but I was giving her a little bit of attitude, because I'm like telling her like, hey, like, this is not okay. Like, you're supposed to set up the payroll before I even start. Like, that's not professional. Like, you know what I mean? And she's just like, well, you need to be patient, and you need to wait, and you need to, like this is how it works here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I left. I'm like, you know what? I had a whole day without getting paid. I was like, no. And then there was another like unprofessional job, quote unquote. There was this guy. I was starting at like a nursing home that was a house, and the guy was like, oh, I don't understand. Like, he wanted me to do a lot of stuff. Like, he wanted me to clean the whole house every single day, and then he wanted me to take care of 2 patients, and he wanted me to give medication to the 2 patients. At the time, I didn't feel comfortable with that, so I was like, no, like, I don't feel comfortable. Like, I didn't tell him straight up, but I was like, oh, we'll see. But I didn't feel comfortable giving them the medication, because I wasn't like properly trained or anything like that. And so they're just like, and then they wanted me to cook for the patient. It was like a lot. Like, they wanted me to do a lot, and they wanted me to clean right after. Like, I did like everything. Like, they wanted me to do laundry. They wanted me to do the full thing, and they had cameras everywhere. And like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying like he would watch the cameras constantly, and like he'd be like straight up, he'd be like, oh, I'm gonna watch you. Like, I'm gonna see how you do. And I'm like, that's creepy. Like yeah, this is not for me. I was like, this is too much for like, it was like a little pay, and I was like, yeah, no, like, to be constantly like running around like that, and it was only like a few dollars. I was like, no, like, I'm not gonna do that. And then he was like, oh, I understand why people don't stay. Like, people don't stay here. They always leave, and they never tell me why. And then he was like, oh, and one time this girl, he starts telling me a story about how this girl said she cleaned, but she didn't. He watched her on the camera the whole time, and he fired her. It was just like kind of unprofessional for you to be telling me that. I don't know. That's just something that came up, but that was like another like unprofessional job in a sense, because the guy was like weird, and then his wife was like kind of rude. I don't know, like, she wanted to be like everything be perfect, and like, I don't know, she like told me straight up she like wanted everything to be perfect. I thought she was gonna get after us. I don't know, that's not very like nice. I don't know, like, she was trying to scare us, and like, I don't know, it was just weird. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys liked this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.